administration 2.0 is definitely a lot more MAGA, if you will, putting in people that are not going to have their own agendas and undercut the political capital that Trump was brought in on. I think that a lot of people are up in arms over a large number of picks, but you need to realize Republican senators need to get in line here. You had 20 Republican senators vote for Merrick Garland. I think a similar number voted for Lisa Monaco, one of the architects of the Russia hoax and trying to frame a sitting president as an asset of a foreign, hostile foreign power, in addition to a defense secretary that does not believe in civilian control of the military. And as we're talking about Sean Duffy going to transportation, this was one of the most incompetent cabinet officials in the history of our country. And who would have thought that a mayor that took a small city to bankruptcy would be such a disaster? I mean, I'm a little bit shocked at how bad he did, even knowing that that was his track record. So I think people need to stop getting their knickers in a bunch and get on the agenda that just got one of the largest popular vote majorities a Republican presidential candidate could ever hope for.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Mike. I mean, it's just ridiculous. A lot there. I don't understand this whole practice of paying people for interviews. I mean, do you, Michael Lee?
Well, Maria, it's not the interview, it's the endorsement. Right, and
but to pay for it?
Well, look, you know, there's a gentleman in Iowa that's a pastor that gives out endorsements, and you know, those don't for Republicans in the primaries. Okay, those don't come free. Politics is a dirty business, and like, just take a step back, and if you look at how much more money was spent by the Harris campaign and their PACs, and the fact, and all the favorable media. Okay, and the fact that Trump still won the popular vote despite all the lies, the slander, the negative media, this $4-5 to $1 spent against his media, and he still won the popular vote. If that just gives you a little perspective as to how popular he actually is.
Michael Balboni.
So just a question for Walmart, and we might not get this until the call, Maria. You know, we've got a shorter holiday season this year, and you've also got warmer weather. And that could be a factor for all of the retailers, but of course for Walmart. And are they going to say anything about possible China tariffs?
Yep. So we got better than expected earnings, better than expected revenue, better than expected comp store sales, and the CEO saying that e-commerce is getting close to profitability. Stock is up better than 4% right now. It is time for the word on Wall Street. Top investors watching your money. Joining me now is Motley Fool asset management investment analyst Shelby McFadden. Also with us is Mike Lee this morning. And Shelby, I want to thank you so much for joining the conversation. Retail, you like Walmart?
Look, I think you're going to see broad-based consumer improvement over time. I mean, this is a spectacular quarter for Walmart. Yeah. I have to believe that things are going to get better for the consumer, with the hopes that economic improvement, reduced inflation, reduced cost of energy, that things should be moving in their favor. Even though that I wouldn't say the consumer has been down, it's extraordinarily resilient given what's going on here. But this was a spectacular quarter for Walmart.
Look, I want to move on to crypto. Trump Media is reportedly in advanced talks to acquire the crypto trading firm Bakkt skyrocketing yesterday by more than 162% on repeated trading halts due to the volatility around this, speculation around it. President-elect Trump meeting with Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong yesterday as well. He's talking about personnel appointments for the second term, and this is the first time the two have met since Election Day as Trump continues filling his cabinet, Mike. Interesting that Trump Media wants to acquire Bakkt. This is the firm that Kelly Loeffler runs. Kelly Loeffler and, of course, her husband are the owners of the New York Stock Exchange. And she also has a separate business running Bakkt. Trump Media wants to acquire this. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, so Kelly Loeffler's husband is CEO of ICE, that owns the New York Stock Exchange. Right. This is a great deal for Truth Social, because look, the point of Truth Social was that the censorship overlords dominating social media. You need a place to go which promotes free speech. Fortunately, for I think a lot of us, Elon Musk bought X. or Twitter converted it to X. So what does that do to Truth Social's prospects going forward? The need for it doesn't exist the way that it did before. So a deal like this is spectacular. And I think the bullish part of crypto right now is you are going to get regulatory framework. Okay, Gary Gensler and the Biden administration intentionally kept all of crypto in this gray area where you don't know if you're stepping over the line, you're not stepping over the line. You don't know this rule or that rule. And that sort of uncertainty is what the market hates. And it's not just stocks, it's not bonds, it's also cryptocurrency. So that regime is changing. And it's, Trump did a complete 180 on cryptocurrency from where he was in his first administration to right now, because I don't know what spurned it, but I definitely believe it's the right decision. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. You need safe places where you can hold these assets, where you can trade these assets. People aren't going to steal your money, and the people that run these exchanges need to know which rules to run by, and with that, you're going to attract much more institutional capital, much more investor, much more positive investor sentiment, and bringing more people to the table.
Well, speaking of this group that we've seen a trunk trade around, including crypto, there's Palantir, one of your favorite names. Palantir Technology says it's going to transfer its listing from the Nasdaq to the Nasdaq from the New York Stock Exchange beginning November 26th. This stock is up better than 256% year to date, Mike. You were early on this stock. You love it. You talked about it a few times. Your reaction? Yeah, look,
so Palantir is my all-time favorite stock. It is an extraordinarily expensive company. To have a $130 billion market cap and only do $3 billion in revenue, I think that's based on very realistic forward expectations for this company. And moving over to the Nasdaq is just a fantastic idea for them to be more technology aligned. So they got added to the S&P 500 a few months ago to move to the Nasdaq, hopefully get added to the QQQ index. Right now they'd be around the number 30 position in that index. You start getting added to a lot of other technology index funds, and so you embed this institutional shareholder base with these long-only mutual funds that are in people's 401ks, the ETFs, and so it gives you a solid shareholder base, reducing the float outstanding so that you have long-term shareholders as long as you can stay a member of these indices. So I think this is great news. This is a great company. It's very expensive. I think it's going much higher, but you, however, may see the stock sell off 20, 30, 40, 50% before you hit new highs.
All right, we'll leave it there. Shelby, thanks very much for weighing in this morning. Great to see you as well. Please come back soon. Absolutely. Shelby McFadden, Mike, you're with us all morning. We appreciate that. We're just getting started this hour. Quick break, and then Trump's transition picks of Donald Trump. Why? They are afraid of him. Yeah. That's why. And that's why they don't want him back, because they know he doesn't care about all of these relationships and these people who think they're dug in for years and years. He's going to drain the swamp. He's going to bring it back to normalcy. That's why they hate him, and that's why they're afraid of him.
Yep. Maria, you're absolutely right. And Elon Musk is ready to go, as is Vivek.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get a look at your forecast across America. Fox. The bottom line here is that it is the law in China that the military comes first. That is military-civil fusion. And any company, if it has anything to do with advancing the Chinese military, will do so. So all these companies that you invest in on U.S. exchanges that are Chinese companies, they are tied to the Chinese military, Michael Lee. Do you expect this analyst to be right, that there will be a delisting of these Chinese stocks?
Maria, yes. Like I think there's a day of reckoning coming. And additionally, most of these Chinese companies do not need to meet U.S. accounting standards or do not need to release the auditor reports, which is insane. Why are companies from China getting this special treatment that American companies do not? Why are we funding our opposition? Why are we funding the greatest threat to our country's well-being? So look, I think a headline like this, a report like this, couldn't be more timely as Trump is staffing up his cabinet, and why you are seeing Marco Rubio as your Secretary of State. He has been a champion for this issue. They wanted to add, the MSCI World wanted to add Chinese stocks to some of their index funds, which are in United States government workers' retirement plans. Okay, and he fought hard to have that removed. That's so right. I think this is just the beginning of how we go to war with China without a shot being fired.
Yeah, and then the analyst is also saying we believe this would require legislation. Before the opening bell sounds on Wall Street, we've got a sell-off underway. Dow Industrials right now lower in the triple digits, down 500 points. What is going on here?
Yeah, look, a little bit of fatigue. This has been a great year in the market. If you have cash to sidelines, these are opportunities because the market's going much higher.
So you would buy into this sell-off of 507 points on the Dow Industrials?
100%.
Earlier.